Hi, everybody, and happy Thursday. Welcome to another version. Excuse me. Welcome to another edition of Veganish. I am Dr. Monique, your host, who you know as a physician in the kitchen. Thank you so much for joining. On this show, we talk about all things plant-based. I talk about my plant-based journey and bring you along with my tips, tricks, aha moments, and everything in between. So thank you so much for joining. How are you today, Mr. Ellis?
I am good. It's funny. It's like that is when you're doing live streaming, you don't get a second take. You
You
got
don't get it, but you keep going. You just keep going and hope nobody was really listening when you made the mistake.
it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, welcome to the fastest 30 minutes of my day. I tell you guys that every week because it really is. And that just means we're having fun. I'm having a ball and trying to get everything in. So we're going to get started here shortly. But first, you know what we do here. Rep your city. Tell us where you are watching us from coast to coast, continent to continent, wherever. We're here for all of it. So drop your zip code, your city, your town. Let us know where you're watching us from. And because sharing is caring, be sure to tap somebody on the shoulder and say, hey, come on in this house and fellowship with us because Dr. Monique is talking about something healthy. So just come on in. You don't need to know what it is. Just tell them to come on in. So how has your week been going so far, Mr. Ellis?
It's been busy. We have got a big series of Facebook Live. We have another virtual summit next week on Tuesday. It's our Healthy Kids Summit. So kids are going back to school, and so we have 5 panel discussions all about keeping your kids healthy and safe, and these kind of you know, let's just say it's roller coaster type times, right? Because of with regards to their health, but they're going back to school. Many schools are not; they're abandoning masks and mask mandates, and so we know that COVID, the rates are rising, and it's harder to get a handle on it now because people are testing at home and may or may not reveal what the results of those tests are.
Right.
We've got a new variant out there. BA.5 is out there wreaking havoc. And now we got monkeypox, right?
Monkeypox. Yes,
So,
fun times.
yeah, so it's a perilous times. And when kids go to school, they get exposed not only to the germs, but they get exposed to the germs of all of their classmates, and they're bringing their germs in. And so there's a lot of exchange that happens in the school. And so we wanted to help parents keep their kids safe, and then give them some tips and techniques that they may not always know about, like dental health and mental health and vision health. So we're going to cover the whole gambit on Tuesday. So I've been working on getting all the guests and writing run-up shows, and so that's been my week. And
Sounds busy, busy, busy. We're going to touch on some of that you spoke about because, as we talk about eating healthy fruits, vegetables, things like that. Of course, what role does it play? How does it help you? So we're going to touch on some of that you've spoken about. So yeah. So for me, I mentioned last week that I was soon to be an empty nester. So college kid all moved in, dropped him off last week. Yesterday was the first day of class for him. So he's adjusting. He texted me the first night, how are you holding up? I was like, I think I'm okay. So I'm so excited for him. It's hard for me to be sad. It really is because I'm so excited for him. And I was looking at his college schedule, and it took me back 30 years when I was in college. I was like those Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and those Tuesday, Thursday classes. So a lot of, the only thing that stays the same in life is that there's going to be change, right?
yes,
And so is how you address it, how your mindset, how you face it is how, if whether it's going to be good change or bad change for you. So, okay, so folks are starting to trickle in. We've got Palm Beach, Florida, Southern California, Chicago. The Midwest is usually the first to chime in. This week, we've got the Southeast. We've got Atlanta and Milton Keynes in the UK. Wow. I told you guys, continent to continent. I love it. So we've got Europe represented tonight. I love it, love it, love it. So, and don't forget, be sure to tag folks, let them know that we are here because we're going to get into the next color on our rainbow journey and a Bay Area. So another West Coast. So Thank you all so much for watching. So if you've been watching the past few weeks, we've been doing this kind of, follow the yellow brick road, eat the rainbow kind of thing, right? So we've
Yeah.
covered red and blue and
No, we
green,
did red and purple.
red and purple, red and
That's right.
purple.
Yes.
And but we blue/purple. We kind of lumped them together a little bit there.
Mhm.
And then Minneapolis, there we go. We got the Midwest coming in now. Thank you so much for tuning in. So this week we're gonna do yellow. And so,
Mhm.
one of my favorite yellow foods is in season right now, and that is sweet summer corn.
Mm.
So, oh my goodness, I just had some the other day, put it on the grill and just charred it a little bit. Oh my goodness, it's so good. So, if I'm gonna have Ellis go ahead and put that slide up for us with all of our pretty yellow fruits and vegetables. And as we're doing that, if you guys can go ahead and start just chiming in with, like we do every week, chiming in with some of your favorite yellow. Look how beautiful that is. Just
Wow.
look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Like it makes me want to eat literally everything on that slide. So we're going to get into it the kind of one by one, but as a class or as a color, I guess I should say, we're going to talk about what yellow does, how yellow does a body good. So Ellis, before I get into that, as you look at this, as you see what we've some representation here that we've got of yellow foods, kind of what's your favorite? Which one leaps out at you?
I'm a big fan of pineapple.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say pineapple.
I'm just a Florida boy. I'm a beach boy, and pineapple just goes with my whole kind of vibe. So yeah, I gets down with some pineapple.
Oh my goodness. What's not to like? It's sweet, it's juicy. But I have to say, to this day, the best pineapple I've ever had in my life was actually in Grand Cayman. It
Wow.
was
Okay.
amazing. It just was, it just tasted so sweet. I've been chasing that high ever since. But it was incredible. It was, oh my goodness, it was a perfect piece of fruit. But yeah, so we've got, so as I mentioned, corn is one of my favorites, but we're going to talk
Yes.
about yellow squash, yellow bell peppers, which actually have more vitamin C than citrus fruits. People don't always realize that. Bananas, that we've got some jackfruit there, golden beets. And they're not really easy to find in my area. We have a lot of course, the regular beets, but when I do find those golden beets, I would love to cook with those because I imagine they're even a little sweeter than the red ones. Um, Yellow beans,
Visually, they look better. Just for the
and
record.
then, well, if you have beet issues, then these might be a little more palatable to you. You've got the yellow beans, lemon, of course, and pineapple you mentioned.
Lemon gets down. Y'all don't understand how versatile that piece of fruit is. You just don't understand it.
Lemon is, and that's my favorite flavor. Like if when we have chocolate, vanilla, lemon, strawberry, lemon, hands down my favorite. Um, so we've got some star fruit there. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Mango, yellow cauliflower, which again, when you can find it, it's not always easily found, but it's very pretty when you do see it. And then of course golden apples. Now everything, of course, is not on this list, but this is just to kind of jumpstart the conversation. Hi there, Suffolk, Virginia. We've got Lynn calling in or watching us from. I'm not Lynn. Put where you're from. I know you're
Oh,
a frequent viewer.
I think Lynn's in New York. I want to say
Is she
Lynn's
in
in
New
New
York?
York.
I want to say that too, but I'm drawing a blank right now. So let's get into kind of why yellow foods are good, and just from their visual appearance, yellow foods are thought to just boost our moods. Just
Mm.
just seeing them. And I think I've heard or I've read about like painting rooms yellow, like having a yellow wall in your room is thought to be very calming, very soothing.
Oh, we
So
were so wrong. We were dead wrong.
Orlando, well, East Coast. I meant to say she was on the East Coast.
My apologies, Lynn. You're a Florida
Yes,
person like I
I
am.
was
I'm
I
sorry.
was down there back in July. We did the whole Orlando Universal thing. So yes, Orlando. So the color yellow has been found to be very soothing. And so these foods are thought to just boost your mood just by their appearance or just from just looking at them. But we're going to kind of get into what they do. So each week we've talked about what the name of the chemical is, the phytonutrient or the phytochemical that gives the particular fruit or vegetable its color. And so for yellow, fruits and vegetables. It is beta carotene, which we also see in orange fruits and
Mhm.
vegetables, and then also bioflavonoids as well. So they also contain lycopene, which you may remember from when we talked about red foods because it's found in tomatoes. And that was something that we talked about was good for men's prostates. Well, you're going to get some of that benefit here as well. And interestingly, in um, yellow grapefruit, which I found interesting. Yellow grapefruit has lycopene, not as much as the pink one, but
Mhm.
again, those levels are thought to have benefit for men and prostate health. So good to know. So let's see. Folks are
Michael's got a
chiming in.
great question.
Yeah, let's see. Two things that is on this grouping that I've been told have no healthy value are bananas other than potassium. Eating too much isn't healthy. Is that true? I'm not familiar with that. I don't know why bananas would not be considered healthy. We're going to get into they actually have some people think they can help with weight loss. They of course are a great source of fiber. You can use them as an egg replacement. Mashed or pureed bananas can be used as an egg replacement in things like banana nut bread or zucchini bread. So I'm not familiar with that at all. I don't know
So,
why bananas
so
would
to,
be
to
like
Michael's
that.
point, so Michael, again, as we put at the beginning of the show, this is for entertainment place, purposes only, is not to supplant that. But I would say research that a little bit because I have heard that because my mother has high cholesterol and she avoids corn for that, and that's part of that reasoning is that, and so there is some amount of truth in it. So I would say let's talk to your doctor about that, and then the same thing with bananas. But I think it's more of like the overeating of it for the potassium. Potassium is good for you to a point, and then I think at some point you can get over the top, but more so.
Bananas really, people have that bananas really don't have a whole lot of potassium. People think, oh, I'm cramping, let me eat a banana. It really doesn't have as much. And so some of that is kind of folklore and it's not
Yeah.
scientifically proven. And I wonder if that's true about the corn and the bananas as well. Because again, um, there are going to be fruits and vegetables that have more of a certain nutrient or more of a nutritional value than others. But to say it has no healthy value, I don't know that that's
You know
true.
what has more potassium than bananas, or is just as much, and that people consume way more than bananas? Soda, Coke product.
But soda also has phosphorus, which is not good. There's that balance there
Oh,
that's
maybe
not.
maybe it's a phosphorus. Okay,
So
maybe.
phosphorus, yeah, sodas are high in phosphorus, which can cause problems with bone health.
Okay.
So maybe that's what you're thinking of. But corn again, fiber. All of these are going to be a great source of fiber, no matter at a minimum. And as we've talked about before on this show, most Americans do not get enough fiber in their diet. So, if you're going to have an ear of corn, count that towards your fiber content. And so, from my standpoint, that makes it healthy. So, Harold said banana makes his lips tingle. Yeah, obviously, if you have allergic type symptoms, definitely, don't want to eat them. But yeah, so that's anybody can have any kind of reaction to any of these at any time. So definitely, if you know that, stay away. But yeah, and then if you think about corn, it's used in a lot of things as well, as far as we get cornmeal from it, it can be cornbread.
Mhm.
So it has a lot of uses, and um for the amount that people should be using, I would say all in all, the benefits outweigh the risk, or give it a healthier profile than I think maybe what you're familiar with. So, but yeah, so as we go through this list, so of course mango, which is I know this
Delicious.
is uh,
Mango is delicious.
it is delicious, and I'm about to go to the Caribbean on Saturday, and I can't wait because I'm just like I got to get some fresh mango while I'm there. This is one of those ones I kind of discovered a little later in life, but
Mhm.
now that I have, I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing. But remember, if you can't get it fresh locally, frozen is just as good, and you can throw it in a smoothie. Right, so
Yeah.
keep some with if you've got some tropical frozen fruits in your freezer, some strawberries, all of that stuff. I throw an avocado, some frozen avocado in there, some spinach, can make a wonderful, wonderful smoothie. So just keep those in mind, because sometimes you may not have access to some of these in season or when they're at their highest peak of freshness. But don't forget about the frozen option, because for frozen fruits and vegetables, a lot of that nutritional content is just as good as when it's fresh for the most part.
There's a show idea for us. We can't talk about it today, but maybe we should do a show on uh, the seasons and what fruits and vegetables are in season, because I know we
Well,
hear
we
that.
did. We did talk about that before. We did. We talked about it, but it's always, I think, a seasonal topic, because it's going to vary, of course, depending on where you are in the country.
Right.
But I think the take home from that show was really find out what's in season, because you want to get it at its peak. And if you freeze stuff or can stuff yourself at home, you can really, stock your freezer, and that's a great time to hit your farmers markets,
Yeah.
because they're going to have a lot of the local produce that's in season. So, that might be a good time to start to explore farmers markets if those are available to you.
And it's a good way to save some money, because when you buy stuff in season, it tends to be lower
It
in
tends to be
cost
cheaper. Yep.
versus buying it out of season. So you can keep your grocery bill down by buying fruits and vegetables that are in season
And it
versus.
just tastes better. You can really taste the difference. So, pineapple, we talked about, they are known or thought to help with indigestion as well as in reducing inflammation. So, they're sweet and juicy, and they also have the benefit of reducing inflammation without your body. And as we've talked about before, inflammation is kind of the trigger for a
Yeah.
lot of the chronic diseases that we see. So, Lynn said, Farmer's Almanac. Do they still make that?
I think they do. I think you can go to, like, this place that people used to frequent called a bookstore. You know,
Oh, I'm sure there's an app. There probably is a
it's
Farmer's Almanac app, I would think.
you
Maybe.
know, it's funny. Like, my mother grew up in rural kind of, South Carolina, and her grandmother had a farm, so she would spend. So she knows, like, almost automatically what's in season. Like, it's like it's all in her head. Oh, wait, that's not in season. No,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is, and it's like, wow. Like, I wish I had that ability, just to, the time just to study and know that, because it would just make things a lot easier.
It's so interesting. As I've mentioned before, I'm actually finishing up culinary school, and we did a class on seasonality of foods. And one of the professor or the instructor made the correlation that foods come into season when our body needs the nutrients that they have. So, for
Um,
example, watermelon, as we know, is summer. Melons and watermelon. But why? Because they're very hydrating during the summer months. And
yeah.
so I was like, wow, I never, really thought about that. What's the other one? The citrus fruits tend to be in season later in the year, fall and winter, because why? They have high levels of vitamin C, which help boost your immune system.
Yeah.
So it's really, once you start to really look into that, it's really, I found it very, very interesting. But yeah, Farmer's Almanac, I remember that as a little girl. I remember seeing those, but didn't know that was still a thing. That's good to know. So as you guys are listening or watching, please go ahead and start dropping in some of the ones we've talked about, ones that people don't like, but let's talk about some of those yellow foods that you do like, a recipe or a way that you prepare them. Because the other thing that we like to talk about as we go through this rainbow is being open to trying these foods in a different way. You may have your tried and true way of making something, but when you do something in an alternative way, it can open things up, like bananas, using it as an egg replacement. So she dated herself. Well, I'm right there with you. So we're in the same boat. So that's a way to kind of expand your palate, expand your repertoire as well. I do want to say something about the star fruit,
Mm.
because I actually, have you ever had it, Alice? Have you tasted it?
I have not.
It's an interesting fruit. I saw one. I try to, when I go to the grocery store from time to time, I try to get something new, like, what is that? I'll buy it and come home and look it up and try it out. Um, it's juicy. It's a very juicy fruit. And it's kind of a cross between, like, how would I describe it? I thought it was actually kind of bland. It was a very mild taste to me.
Okay.
A little bit on the sweet side, a little tart. Um, but to me, it kind of was like almost like a kiwi.
Mm.
And I don't know, maybe I'm trying to think what the other flavoring it was, but to me, it was pretty mild. So if anyone else has experience with star fruit, let us know. Lynn said, good stuff. Her neighbor had a tree full of star fruit or something else. Because if you're the expert on star fruit, please chime in, let us know. So,
It
but
looks juicy. Just for based on the picture, it looks juicy. So I would, based on what we're talking about in terms of seasonality, it looks like it's more of a kind of a summer where you can get
probably,
some of that, get some of that. Yeah, she said, yeah, okay, star fruit.
yes.
So yeah,
So Jeffro
looks like
star
some
fruit.
more of a summer fruit. And with you being from Florida, Lynn, you probably know about about some.
It's probably it's just it's a cute little fruit. I mean, because when you cut it, when you slice it, that's how you get those stars. It's shaped kind of like it's kind of like a cylindrical shape almost, but then when you cut it, you get those pretty star shapes. So that's where the name comes from. So we've talked about citrus in the past as far as the role like vitamin C and so forth, but also yellow citrus is thought to lower the sugar load for diabetics from starchy foods. And
Ooh.
also, it may help prevent stomach ulcers. And people think, well, how can that be? Citric acid, but the phytonutrients that are in citrus fruits are thought to help protect the stomach from excess acid or from excuse me from gastric ulcers. Now, I do want to add to that though that when people have reflux or heartburn, which is different from ulcers, one of the things we do advise that they cut back on though is citrus because that can actually aggravate reflux.
Okay.
So it depends on what you have. If you have ulcers, it might be protective, but reflux it can actually aggravate. Hi there, Agnes, watching from NYC. Welcome, welcome. So starfruit five finger, it does look like five. I can see that. I can totally see that. So we're just on here talking about, if you're just joining us, we're talking about yellow fruits and vegetables and the health benefits they have. And this slide is just representative of some of more common ones. But as we mentioned, it can instantly boost your mental health, mental wellness levels, as well as improve your skin health, your hair health, bone health, and dental health. So you talked about your upcoming show on dental health. So this might be something you want to encourage people to do. And also because of the vitamin C, it helps to promote your body's production of collagen, which is again found in the
Mm.
skin as well as the joints, and it's kind of considered to be like an anti-aging component. If you think about it, for those of us who go get facials or use skin products, vitamin C is often added to some of those products. So, what better way than to get it naturally than getting your fruits and
They're
vegetables?
selling collagen in grocery stores right now for like you get like a scoop and you pour it in your water or your favorite drink, but it's like $50 on some of those jars.
Mhm.
Like 40 something dollars for a can of collagen.
Well, I
It's
believe it, but remember, we talked about this before. We did our vegan or not segments. Collagen can actually may not be vegan because if it's an animal product.
right.
So you want to keep that in mind. If you're truly trying to be vegan, you're probably not going to be getting that collagen because you want to check that source because that tends to be
But
an
I'm saying
animal
you could get it from your food and not have to
from
buy it
food.
separately.
Exactly. Exactly. So we are actually coming up on the bottom of our time, but I just wanted to kind of just put this out here. And as we've talked about before, lemons and other citrus, do not forget about the zest, right? That's like leaving money on the table if
Yeah.
you are not zesting your citrus because it adds so much flavor to just elevates that citrus, that lemon flavor. And all of these, of course, contain what? Antioxidants. We've talked about antioxidants before.
Hmm.
Those antioxidants help to protect and some of the damage, to protect us from the damage of day-to-day living, from
Hmm.
radiation, from tobacco smoke, from pollution, from sunlight, you name it. So antioxidants they go out there and they gobble up those free radicals, which is what causes damage to our tissues and leads to those chronic inflammatory conditions that we often see.
Right.
And then, of course, they're a great source of fiber as well. So, speaking of lemon, I'm always I'm a big fan of lemon, and so in my book, Doc Fix My Plate, I actually have a lemon pound cake recipe. It's vegan and gluten free. So if you're looking for a lemon recipe, there's one. Now it is cake, so I'm not telling you to go out and eat the whole thing in one sitting. But if you're looking for a vegan or a gluten free option, lemon pound cake, it is that's there for you to consider. So I think we've kind of covered everything that I wanted to hit. But yeah, don't forget about your um don't forget about your like mango, your excuse me, yellow peppers, your squash, which are technically fruits, right? Because
Mhm.
they have their seeds. But just think about different ways you can use those, incorporate those into different recipes, and really just expand your flavor profile. Because you'd be amazed if you kind of get used to eating something a certain way all the time, and then when you just switch it up, you're like, this is actually really, it's good in a different way. Or if you're reluctant to try something new, try it, so that you can just, you never know, you may discover like your new favorite thing.
I'm always a big fan of trying new things, and because I know, green peppers, bell peppers in particular, are the most common, right? You can find those almost anywhere.
And then because they're the cheapest.
They're the cheapest, right? But if you are cutting those up and spin a little bit more and get the red, get the yellow, get the orange, that color, that eat the rainbow really comes into play in a stew or in any dish. You can slice them up, julienne, put them, just caramelize them real quick in a pan, some olive oil. You can make your own bowls. Like, people always make these bowls. Like, you can make some bowls with quinoa, some tricolored peppers and all kinds, so, and onion, and it really is very, very good. It's healthy, and yes, the colored, outside of green are a little bit more expensive, but they're worth it because you eat with your eyes first, right? And so
Exactly.
having
Exactly.
that color in your bowl or on your plate really increases your appetite and makes things go down really, really
And
well.
I find them to be a little sweeter than the green and be a little
Yeah.
just a little bit more flavorful, as well. And so, and you can do so much with them, from omelets to chili to burritos. I mean, you name it. So lots of different things you can do, and they're just a wonderful source of fiber as well. So they really check a lot of boxes. So that is all we have for today. We are going to be back in 2 weeks,
Two
and I
weeks.
think we're going to talk about, we've got one more stop on the rainbow before we wrap up this series. So you got to tune in to watch that. So Robin says she loves yellow squash, red bell pepper, and greens. Oh my God, so good! Love them all. Yes, yes, yes. Robin, I love that you love yellow squash. I would love to know kind of what's your favorite way to prepare it. Are you sauteing them? Are you grilling them?
Mm.
Because there's a lot of different things you could do with that.
I
Maybe
normally cook them in a wok. I cut them up with some
so you saute them.
green, with zucchini,
So a stir fry.
stir
Yep.
fry, and then I do a little garlic, a little olive oil in the pan, and then some onion, and just, quick wok, spin around, turn them over in the wok,
That's right.
and
Yeah,
out.
they don't take long. Especially if you slice them kind of on the thinner side, they do not
Mhm.
take long at all. So I love it. I love it. So we give you recipes, we give you ideas. We cover it all on this show. I love it. So
Man, I love that idea. I'm gonna try that red bell pepper and greens, because now you're getting that double vitamin C. You get the vitamin C for the red bell pepper, you get the vitamin C from your greens. You're really doubling it up, and you've got nice visual because you've got
it's
that
beautiful. The
Christmas
red
look
and the
on there with the
green.
red.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
It's a great
And
idea,
you
Lynn.
get it with a little heat too. And you
Oh
got it.
yeah.
You got it.
Oh
You
yeah.
got it.
I stay with some cayenne in my cabinet. If I don't have cayenne,
Little cayenne, little cayenne pepper. Yeah, I'm
always.
I'm a I'm a wimp when it comes to heat, but it like some red chili flakes. I think just the amount, right amount, and some.
I
And I
moved away
like
from the on the top of the food heat, right? Like the hot sauce, I moved away from that. I like it worked in. So
flavor.
cayenne pepper, red pepper flakes, things of that nature, chili, those type of things, but not just I'm gonna smother it in hot sauce.
Yeah, because then all you're tasting is the hot sauce. They taste good, slicing eggs and onions, scrambled an egg is delicious. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
In your yellow squash, it eggs. Wow, that's
Oh, I thought you were talking about the.
You asked,
Oh,
that's Robin.
the squash, the squash. I'm sorry, I was thinking about the peppers, but no, right. You were talking about the squash. That's different. That is
Okay.
different.
Okay. You
See?
had to try to put that in your test kitchen.
See, that's something different because I would never have thought to put that together. So, but
Yeah.
instead of eggs, if we're keeping it vegan, we might do a little bit of some tofu with that, maybe. Don't make that
Girl,
face.
girl, look. Use your eggs.
Don't
Okay.
make that face. On that note,
You the
thank
ish
you.
or the vegan ish. You ish.
You're the ish. That's right. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week going into your weekend. Be sure to make healthy choices and invest in your health one plate at a time. Until next week, I am or until 2 weeks, I am Dr. Monique, your board certified physician who you know as a physician in the kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to tag others, share this, and leave your comments and your questions, and we'll try to get to them as many as we can. Until next time.
See y'all.